Stupid! Stupid! Stupid!
Okay.
You're all stupid!
So start today.
We're just discussing world economics.
And why it's now
David
officially...
Hume was a famous economist, and he's Scottish.
Do we have to blame him for anything?
No, I think it's us now.
It's us. Well, we were just saying, and it got you wound up, that it's actually in many ways cheaper for me to buy from America than it is from France now.
I've bought 3 of my wives from Europe. That's ended.
That's all. Oh, they're right enough. I forgot about that.
You forgot about them. They've gone.
Favourite thing I ever saw.
I told their families they went back to the old country.
Oh, that's the same as going to
under my
the
patio. Don't even have a patio. It's my neighbours.
Oh God. The best thing I ever saw about someone buying a wife. There was a big thick book, and there was this slob of a guy, and he opened the first page. No, he was British.
Okay.
He opened the first page, and there's this beautiful 29-year-old girl, and he
Eastern
goes,
European.
Of course, and she's an ex-model. She's a medical student. In her spare time, she looks after animals. She did everything. She was just the most perfect human. He went, interesting. Let's see who's on page 2. And it's like, he always thought there was someone better next.
I remember watching a thing. It tends to be American guys I've seen in a lot of these shows. And let's just say they're more of a conservative bent.
Okay.
And they like a woman to know her place. And they're under this, they think that American women are too free from their clutches. So they like to go to Eastern Europe where they think the ladies are more subservient.
Oh my God.
They're in for a bonny old shock.
In for a shock.
They fucking, generations of people survived Stalin. They're not getting put up with fucking Randy from...
Exactly. My friend Alyssa, she, her husband was actually working around the world, and she met him that way, and she ended up here in Arbroath, so she had a beautiful Russian Arbroath accent. She was wild.
Well,
all the crazy.
I mean, like Ukrainian women, they'll all be educated and cultured, and they're going, I'm not criticising America, but there's a few gaps in its culture.
You could say that for any, especially in wealthy cultures. There's the gaps that are there get bigger. You can see that here in the UK.
Burgers and baseball is not that culturally.
I don't like burgers. I like vegetarian burgers.
There's so much America. I'm not dissing a lot.
Well, the reason
you could maybe say there's a lack of maybe. Do Americans read books? We've got some listeners.
Here is why we talk about America a lot, and especially when I was staying there, people were talking about. They were saying everything in the UK is American and that, and I went yes, because if you read Sun Tzu's Art of War, the way you invade the country, that's it. It's economics.
The Romans
and
people think that the Romans just went in and fucked people over.
No, it was economic.
They preferred to just buy off.
It's simple.
Simpler.
Less
if you
violence.
fucked about, they came down on you. The British Empire was the same. It was gunboat diplomacy in many ways, but they got the ruling classes of the country and they paid them off.
Absolutely, it's the way you do it.
It's the way you do things, and it's as old as time.
When there's no sense here that we've lost culture, because the thing is, especially in Scotland, we're much more akin to evolving culture, where if you see Scottish people that go around the world, they absorb.
But all our culture's just made up by the English.
That's it. Yeah.
It was all redone and handed back to us by the English.
Now, kilts, Indian, bagpipes,
That's all
Indian,
made up.
haggis, Indian, whiskey, Indian. We are India.
Why?
We are an extended state of India. I'm convinced.
I've always thought, the days of the Raj in the British colonial India.
Yeah.
A lot of terrible things happened. But I've always had a hope that there is some leftover fondness for Britain in India. I just hope, because India is a developing country. It's getting up there. They've got a lot of issues, infrastructural issues, but they will eventually get a young, educated populace. Always a good thing. Whereas Britain's elderly.
No, yeah.
Bad for us. Betty, I've often thought, if you go to Europe, Britain's taken on board so many of the Indian things that Europe doesn't like. Spicy food.
Yeah.
Try and get spicy food in France or Spain.
Yeah.
Not really. Us, we love a good.
And here's
so
the
when
thing.
you conquer someone, they in turn are kind of conquering you in a little.
Oh yeah, I totally
it's
agree
a
with
mix.
that.
Yeah, it's not a one-way thing.
And the what's been left in Britain from India, well, especially Scotland. Scotland is so.
We needed some flavour.
Oh my God!
Imagine if you were a guy for Dundee.
Yeah.
You joined the British Army. You'd lived on shite food.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Dundonians were eating white bread porridge in the morning.
Just wonderful.
You go into the army. You went to India and you tasted your first curry, your first pakora.
Now here's another thing. In Dundee,
Blowing your
everything's grey.
Yeah.
And in the Industrial Revolution, everything was black.
Yeah.
With soot. You go to this colourful country.
Orange.
You've never seen orange in your life.
You'd never. The only oranges you saw were in marmalade, and they were rotten, fermented oranges.
That's right. You've never seen colour in your life. You've never had flavour in your life.
No.
You would have went into
Imagine if we'd
other
never.
planet.
Imagine your first curry was on your 60th birthday that's just passed.
Oh my
Imagine what that had done to your palate.
You would have gone a wasted life.
You'd never tasted mango chutney.
Oh God!
Can you imagine?
Just,
a fucking poppadom.
a
fucking naan. A Peshwari naan.
India is great.
Oh, that shaggy books they do. The Kama Sutra.
Oh well, that was a lot of effort.
Well, Dundonians had one position.
Oh.
Both people facing the wall. You didn't want to look at each other.
Oh, no, you don't want to
under
do
a
that.
thick wool blanket
With the pox.
with the kids looking on because you're all
because
the
they're
same,
in the same room. No, I don't want that.
Yeah, but you
India,
got to.
amazing.
There's so much terrible things done in history, but we tend to throw everything out with the bathwater now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to say there's maybe an inkling of something good came out of it, no, people don't like it at all.
No.
We've got to have an honest discussion about it.
An honest discussion about things like that is almost impossible now.
It's utterly impossible.
It's impossible.
Utterly impossible. But you take things from other countries, you go and discover things. I'm not a traveller, but I've got a TV.
Well,
David Attenborough showed me all I need.
I was watching something recently, and colonising anywhere and destroying cultures through religion or just trying to take wealth and that. Of course that's wrong,
but
it's as old as time. It's the way the world has actually grown. That's not an excuse for it. It's terrible.
But
War and everything's
horrible
terrible.
trope is the noble savage.
No, that.
So you think that when the English came up and fucked us over, then quite quickly they had us down as this noble Highlander.
Yeah,
they reimagined us.
That's right. It's
and
redrawn.
It's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Not true.
But we're cunts. All human beings are cunts.
Especially me.
Aboriginal Australians cunts. White Australians cunts.
Have you never seen an Aboriginal come out of the bush?
Aye.
And he's been living out there, and he comes out and you go, watch out for him, he's a dickhead.
Aye.
That exists.
But some of their cultural practices were unpleasant. Inuit people.
The one that I saw is especially middle-aged ladies of Dundee who never got married. They've always been a bit nice girly. They're obsessed with Native American culture.
They're like a fleece.
They like a fleece
with
a
howling
wolf. Yeah,
howling behind it with the moon behind it.
You look into anyone, you have to remember one thing. As you said, people are people.
Yeah.
And when you go into any Native American culture, there's a guy who's a dickhead.
Yeah.
There's one who's a compulsive liar. There's one that's brilliant at jigsaws.
It's
just the way we are.
We're all like a joke. You see people. If you go abroad and see people laughing, everybody laughs at a fart, don't they? Who doesn't? Is there a culture that doesn't find farts funny?
No, everyone loves it.
The Belgians, they don't like farts.
The Finnish,
they don't like farts.
Don't laugh. They don't know how to laugh.
They don't.
It's not been imported
to
the country yet.
They just growl.
Now, I was in, I think it was Kumjung in Nepal.
And that's left a mark on you.
I talk about it all the time.
It's
been so long, but I love it.
He fucking does.
Of all the places I've been. And the thing is, I would talk to people and they say, you leave a part of yourself when you go somewhere. And I leave some place and I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. So many places. Went to Nepal, blew me away.
Right.
Just amazing. So anyway, the guys that were the guides had a right laugh with them. It was just constant taking the piss out of everyone. Bullshit. But they were going up and they went, look, we want to show you something. And it was Yak Donald's. They just said, look, it's Yak Donald's, and it was a field of yaks. And I started laughing. But we started laughing so hard, it's like you're going to piss yourself.
Well, obviously there's high altitude, so low oxygen.
Yeah, we had the bends, so we're laughing at anything. But after that moment, anything, we just couldn't look at each other. We're laughing. It was just bullshit.
It's amazing how people, they don't even have a shared language and they can have a laugh.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Bald and Bankrupt? Do you watch him?
Yes. Yeah.
He's back again after the COVID and all that kind of stuff. But he's going on a travel in Russia, and he's leaving the European part and he's going into Asia. It's fascinating. But he's on the trains and that, and everybody's up blethering to him and giving him vodka.
Yeah,
people want to speak. Human beings are curious. That's a wonderful thing about humanity. Curious, but interested in other people.
I was watching another guy. It was with Amish, and he was in Iran, and they were talking to these guys, and they're going, "What about Taliban?" He goes, "I've never seen Taliban. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I've never seen this." And he's in this part of the country, which I have never been so impressed with the views.
Right.
Iran looks incredible.
Would that be on the Hindu Kush?
I don't know.
Is Iran? I don't know
anything about it. It looks amazing.
Is it in Iran? You get the fat-bottomed sheep.
What?
You get.
You're very specific with your sheep.
It's on the. I know sheep. I'm from the northeast, but there's I think it's on the Hindu Kush. I'm terrible with geography, people. America's next to Belgium, isn't it?
Yes.
Between Finland and Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, this sheep has got a fat arse. Now, sheep generally don't have buttocks. This sheep has big, fatty buttocks.
When it walks.
This is what, but this is what they breed for their kebab.
Is it good?
And but they're a mountain sheep, so they're quite muttony, strong flavoured.
You like your sheep. Now, have we even...
Jesus Christ.
Nice. Now,
that's the end of us.
The whole place is shaking. Now, have I mentioned today's
subject? Is that Susan taking a pish?
That's when ladies pee. It
like
seems like bacon frying.
Like a steam tray.
So, have I mentioned this week's?
You've not.
Right. It's for a reason.
Let's climb this.
It's actually quite good.
Climb this bronco. Tribes.
Tribalism. Last night was coming out of Lidl. Mm-hmm. Got something for my late tea. I was looking forward to it. I got a salad, some chicken with it. It was really nice. So I was walking out.
You're in a tribe of one.
Very much so. Now, there was a couple of guys talking, and he says, "Didn't go over that side." He was pointing to the south side of the South Road because there are Dundee supporters. Now, I haven't heard that for years because on the south side it's Dundee supporters, on the north it's... So, but I thought, does that still exist? They were a bit gadgy. They were a bit...
In a depleted way.
Yes, now, check this. Remember all the Dundee gangs?
There's a book that's got a map of Dundee.
I found it last night.
Yeah.
I found it.
It's bullshit.
The maps are incredible because I think the gangs that came from Victorian times, the names were like the Tip Treacle Ticklers, and there was just bizarre names.
Yeah.
And the biggest one was where I'm from. It was the Lochie Fleet.
Aye.
And the last time the Lochie Fleet were getting arrested or anything was
the 80s.
When I was a kid. And they're all in their 60s and late 60s now.
Fuck.
And it doesn't exist anymore.
No.
And the nicest thing, I went on to some reviews and people were talking about it. And underneath it, I think it was on Facebook, a lot of young people were commenting, "This is so cringe. Were people actually in gangs? Is this real?
God.
Isn't that nice?"
No, but the thing is,
people don't believe it anymore. That's
people
great.
Don't realise the dearth of the lack of stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
You worked.
Mm-hmm.
You went home to the family.
You were poor.
You'd
without
poor.
A doubt.
You had football.
There was nothing.
That was it. A holiday once a year, and that broth. Didn't go abroad. Didn't do anything. You were no privacy. And gangs, people joined them, camaraderie, and fighting was actually fun.
It was fun. Like
young
MMA now.
Yeah, young people often need to test themselves. That's why young folk go and join the wars. They think, I need to test myself before I'm too old.
I used to test myself with climbing.
Oh, you did?
And I would free climb, and I would do that, and I still, once a year, I go to this little spot. It's 7 to 8 foot up, and it's a sheer drop on either side.
That'll kill you one day.
Yes. Yeah. It's about 1.5 foot wide, and I jump 8 foot onto it's a 9-inch ledge.
You're like Lassie.
And I just jump.
You're like
I know if I make it, I'm alright.
Okay, well.
I've got another year.
Okay. Sounds like the Squid Game.
Yes. No, I think it was hyped too much. I'm not enjoying it that
bullshit. much. Then Dundee's not that big a place. They've been small gangs.
Those small gangs of 3. The tip treacle ticklers must have been 3 guys, and one was your mum.
But the I suppose the last gang thing would have been the casuals, football hooligans.
Yeah,
and that was quite a big thing. There was a documentary
a huge
on BBC Scotland recently, and it was the Aberdonian team of gang, I forget what they're called, the casuals, but they were considered quite nasty because you'd your big Celtic Rangers, and you would think, well, they were the worst. Yeah, they were the biggest fan base, but actually, no, really, they were kind of. But they'd meet in town centres and battle each other. I remember
being on the bus waiting to go home, and it was surrounded. And everyone was walking towards each other, and it was like a medieval battle. And there was a lot of big jumpers because it was the 80s with big buttons.
Pringles. The fight with slip-on shoes.
Yes, they had the little metal bit over the front, and they all looked smart. And their moustaches, their mullets,
wee moustaches, their mullets.
They went in
the polo necks.
Well, there was blood on the walls.
They were fighting with each other. But they interviewed a guy who'd been this document is about 10 years old, but they'd interviewed a guy who'd been a former Aberdeen soccer hooligan.
Yeah,
and he was out in this farm. With his family and that now, he's retired, and you could see he'd throw his whole family in the river for one more fight.
For one more fight, they loved it.
He missed it more. He loved fighting more than he loved his kid. He's playing football with his kid, but you could tell he was hoping the kid would be older so he could fight with him.
He can't wait for that post-puberty time where the kid starts taking him on.
But there's lead is out of the petrol.
You've said it, and in Dundee.
When was the last time you saw a street fight in Dundee? I know the last while's been
I saw quite a horrendous one about 10 years ago.
Right.
And it was bad. Well, where I live, there's a pub. And if there's a fight, I used to just watch them and laugh. You didn't care.
No.
And when I saw this particular fight, someone was trying to be killed.
Right.
And a switch went in my head. And even if I hear shouting now, I put the music up, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because a guy broke a bottle. It was 2 brothers fighting.
Oh well, fucking.
And he slashed his throat about 10 times. And I was like, oh fuck! But the police were there. Policeman ran across, way to hit him with a bat, and he turned around and slashed the cop. But he missed. He went right across his face, and the cop went like that, just beat the fuck out of him. But the cop kept checking to see if he'd been cut.
Yeah,
but he wasn't.
Fuck!
Attempted murder. It was terrible. It really affected me.
The folk who are really scuffling with each other are the certain element. There's no so many Saturday night battlers.
Oh no, all the right now.
And young folk, I criticise young people because they won't wear socks.
Yeah, young people aren't drinking and fighting like it now.
Not interested.
There used to be a
do away with that macho shit.
Yes,
I'm interested. Women used to really enjoy macho shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tough guys got women. Bad boys.
Right, here's where the proof of this. Where I live, the pub.
Mm-hmm.
If I walked past it and there was 50 guys outside waiting to go in because they'd been to a football match, I could walk right through them. They go, oh, there you go, mate. There you go. No problem. When they came out drunk, you'd walk through them, no problem. If there was women with them, you can't go near them.
Yeah.
You can't go near it because they'll just fucking hit you.
Like hyenas.
Yes.
Although hyenas are a bad analogy because women are in charge. Oh, no, maybe not. Hyenas have big clitorises that look like cocks, and they're bigger and stronger. Male hyenas are the smaller, subservient.
Like Dundee women.
Like Dundee men.
Dundee men.
You see a lot of big lasses with wee husbands. Have you ever seen an anglerfish?
Yes.
Deep sea anglerfish, and it absorbs the male. That's a Dundee thing.
I found out recently. I always thought the anglerfish was about this big. It's like the size of a car. I had no fucking idea.
No, they're mainly very small.
No, the anglerfish is fucking gigantic.
The deep sea anglerfish is a little thing.
No, it's not.
Oh, no, you've seen the wrong photograph. They're not the size of a car.
Hold on.
They're little things.
Keep everyone amused.
How would it feed itself? An animal that had to... If you're living at depths, you'll get a big shark down there. You get those blind sharks. You've maybe seen a photo. Somebody's laughing.
If I laugh, am I...
I think somebody might be taking the piss.
They're huge.
No, they're not.
They're fucking
little.
huge.
They're the size of a haggis.
They're huge.
There are big animals, but I don't think anglerfish. Because they eat so infrequently, they have to lure stuff to them in the depths. You get big squid.
No, it's just a model. They're still big. They're 3.5 foot long.
Let's see it.
It's a model.
Yeah, that's nonsense. That's not in any
Shut
way
up.
realistic. That looks like Pixar.
I feel like an idiot.
That's okay. You're not in my tribe. The tribalism, yeah, football was a thing, but that who goes? Nobody's. You had to kind of, when I was a student in class, 18, you had to have some knowledge of football to get yourself out of sticky situations. You had to know enough to kind of go, oh, this is. You don't
know what
need
I
that
did?
shit. No knowledge.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was in primary 7, when violence started getting proper and kids were going into first year where their older brothers were fighting properly, I didn't understand football, right? And people would say, what team or anything, or they'll talk to you. I figured the way out of it. Panini cards.
Oh, yeah. People got...
I got some and put an elastic band around them, had them in my pocket, and I'd say, and you'd talk about cards and that, but I didn't understand.
Did people ever finish one of those? Well, I never did Panini.
There was one guy in my class, and his name was Brian, and it was a big day. He came in to show everyone, and I didn't understand. I went, so is this rugby?
Imagine the cost if you had an album with the full set of stickers unstuck. You could ask your price for that.
Right now,
people would ask.
People would go in Dundee
for the ability to stick to a 1980s.
If you had them all with a book, just 1 year, you could swap it for a house in Dundee.
Yeah, you could.
Easily.
There was a Star Wars one, but I don't think it was Panini. I've got a memory of sticking in Star Wars cards.
I do remember that, yeah.
Tribalism.
But
nerd culture.
Yeah.
Nerds were on the periphery.
Okay.
When we were young, you had Blake Seven and Doctor Who. That was it. Not much. Nowadays,
the whole nerd thing.
The nerd thing is the biggest thing.
Because they tried to make it cool.
Yeah.
But you don't, because a real nerd is awkward and awful.
Doesn't wash.
It doesn't, yeah. But the actual culture behind it, it goes across everyone.
But you've got nerds who are just dip-in nerds now.
I would say that's
acceptable.
Me. I would say that's
here.
Me.
Everybody likes a bit of nerdyism. But you don't have to live it. You don't have to be like a monk, a nerd monk, what a lot of these guys are.
Yeah, or wear capes.
Yeah, wear capes.
And
like Ross.
Yeah.
He's got more than one cape.
Wait, are they velvet?
Oh, the proper capes.
Oh
God. My God, there's no cheap,
nice.
no man-made.
Heavy wool.
Heavy.
Oh, my God.
They're like Jedi capes,
living
proper
the
ones.
dream. Wait, I was thinking it was like a short one.
No, not like
a going out one.
Not like the Phantom Raspberry thrower of London Town. No, proper like the hooded capes, like a proper cape.
Oh, he's terrifying.
He's a terrifying man.
Jesus.
And he collects that's him. It collects figurines.
Well, I've got figurines now.
I'll see how he behaves as a friend, but I'll give his address out. I'll put it out.
This is what I got for my birthday.
Thousands of pounds.
I've got the headlamp.
You said.
And I've got a little holder for the figures.
I don't really.
My paints are on the way.
I don't know why you want me to.
The paints are on their way. I'm going to paint them. It's going to be great.
You're
my
right,
Triceratops.
You're right. Remember that 2000 AD story?
What?
Flesh.
No.
Flesh. And it was a great conceit. Food had run out in the future. They were time travelling back to dinosaur times to harvest dinosaurs for meat.
Oh, that seems like a simple solution.
That's why the dinosaurs were extinct. They'd eaten them all.
Eaten them.
It's brilliant.
Love
but
that shit.
There was a big one eye, a big fucking terrifying tyrannosaurus. But it was quite. 2000 AD was fucking brutal.
It was great. It was really good.
Brutal as
very
fuck.
Adult.
Very, very adult. Those folk get slaughtered and
it
satirical as well. So much better than the American stuff.
Yeah, very much so. But my favourite, I think I've said this to you before, was Eagle. Not the original Eagle from the 50s. The 80s
when they
Eagle.
brought Dan Dare back and he had a metal fist.
Oh my God, metal fist.
The Mekon's a great thing.
I saw a car the other day.
I'd make a good film, Dan Dare.
And it had a huge logo across the back. Anger Fist.
Oh, Anger Fist.
And it turns out, I think it's a DJ or something, but I wouldn't put that in my car.
No.
Anger
Fist.
If they brought a remake, or not a remake, but the first Dan Dare.
They should make a film, yeah.
Wonderful. Sergeant Streetwise, best story ever. I bet he's an elderly man now.
Oh God,
that was a photo one.
Was it Tharg that was the boss of the 2000 AD? Zundug Volthrug or someone used to say.
Remember the Mekon? He was great.
Remember Doomlord?
No.
Doomlord was an eagle, wasn't he?
But you're a real dork. You pretend you're not.
But no, I don't pretend anything.
You write musicals.
Doom, yeah, back in the day. Doomlord, he was an alien. He was like a Vulcan, but with like scrotal flesh.
Oh.
He was skull-like with pointy lugs.
Right, okay.
Not nice.
You're describing me, really.
But he had a ring where he could just evaporate you with, and he came to Earth basically to destroy it. He was here to just like have a wee look about. He was going to tote up all the value of it and then wipe it out.
The
But
thing
he
is,
fell in love with human beings. But
And
it's
then-
all pervy and
oh, yeah.
deadly.
We copied the American-style magazine. This is a complete rip-off, but we didn't get it because they're too cynical in this country.
Yeah.
There's no hope. So everything was just doom and gloom.
They had American comics were more violent, but then they had was it the Hays Code? The stuff came in.
That was for cinema, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there was an
Someone else.
equivalent with the comic, because you had like the old magazines, those murder, mystery, horror magazines, and they were brutal.
They were brutal.
Yeah.
They set off a lot of killers, because on the front of those pulp magazines, there was always
All women being
a
throttled.
headless woman.
Yeah.
So you would the picture would be from the neck down, and then the hand would come in. So a lot of
Gonzo.
psychos, they saw themselves in it.
Oh.
And yeah, isn't that weird? Pictures like that.
I don't believe anything. Any media makes people killers.
No, because it was.
It's you're born bad, you bred.
I think
Proper psychos. It's not upbringing.
I think there's very few literature on people born really bad, but I think one of them was Ted Bundy. Said from when he was a baby he would do.
Well,
it was just not right.
Narcissistic or personal.
Crazy,
I don't mind watching a documentary about murders, but the Ted Bundy thing infuriates me. I can't watch it because he defended himself, and the judge was like, "Mr. Bundy,
yeah."
and if only you'd just been
If I was a judge, I'd say sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. Yeah,
you're like, what about all those? What you fucking men? Like that. We spoke about this other day. That police officer, and this is he's barrister. That people have done worse.
It's awful.
The whole trope of the sexy serial killer is very corrosive.
I hate that.
But then you've got to say who likes the sexy serial killers. It's primarily women. True crime stuff.
That's true. That's very true.
Most true crime podcasts are women.
Women, yeah.
I suppose it's maybe
that's
a bit of know your enemy. It's good to know about crime.
I think it is, but I think
likely...
I think this is going to get us cancelled, like last week everyone has said. But I think it's people are just drawn, the sexes are drawn to different things.
Yeah.
No, not the danger, they're just drawn to different jobs. Men generally are drawn to a particular field and women are drawn to another field. It's just the way it is. They've shown this in the Scandinavian countries where they've really tried to push equity and the sexes have grown further apart. Because they're choosing.
Well, they were really pushing for female engineers.
Yeah.
But I think maybe engineering just appeals more to men.
Well, there was a chemistry department. I can't remember which university it was. And they pushed for this equity thing.
Yeah.
50% women. They had to shut down. No one joined.
It's like, here's one.
It's, how could you feel so badly?
Primatologists all tend to be women.
Yes. But that's good. You get the best person for the job.
They shouldn't overthink a lot of these things.
I agree with that. The overthinking of it.
Make sure everyone's well educated, gets access to good free education.
Now, I'm not going down the Jordan Peterson route here and all this, but there's no meritocracy in the world.
No.
In the sense, like, okay, put it this way.
He's a bit cold, Jordan Peterson.
Do you know what it is? You need people like him.
Aye.
And you need people.
Debate's good.
Debate is great, and you need to disagree with people.
Is he quite churchy?
Very.
Yeah, I see.
But
that loses me.
That loses me. But here's the thing: it's like
plus he's addicted to like cough medicine.
Oh God, yeah, he's really.
He went to Russia to dry out.
Put in a coma.
Right, took him in Russia to dry out.
It doesn't sound good.
Would you go to Russia if you wanted to get off stuff?
No.
Russia?
They've probably got him down to like heroin.
They've got him in the bed and they're like, here's a glass of vodka to get you through the afternoon. Oh well.
But debate, as you're saying, is very important.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware, when I watch things on YouTube, I watch right-wing YouTubers, pundits, because I want to see what gets them to that point that makes me disagree with them so much. I want to try and understand their point of view.
There tends to be a coldness, though. It's a bit. There's a bit of that. Is it Aaron Rand? Can that survival of the fittest?
Yeah,
and we're more evolved than that.
I agree.
It's not.
But there's one. I can't remember her name, and she was a YouTuber, and she was very, very on the left. Very.
Oh, she flipped.
And then she sort of calmed down a bit and talked to people on the other side and realised But the one thing that she got out of it, and not everyone turned on her, but she was just a bit more calmer about her approach. Her approach was still the same, but she was calmer about it. But the one thing she says, I've never laughed as much since meeting these other people. When on the extremes on either side don't laugh.
Yeah.
There's no self-awareness. There's no...
there's a...
And there's the belief that you're... Now, here's the thing. We all say things... We all think we're right, or you wouldn't say things otherwise.
No, I seldom think.
But you've got to be aware that if someone says you're wrong, it's not a personal attack on you.
No.
So you just go, all right, and it's like the way I put it. I will never change anything I believe in unless a better idea comes along.
Yeah.
Which could be at any moment, and it's kind of like
using toilet paper. Have you thought about that?
No, just
good idea. Dog walkers, they're a tribe.
Finger.
They're a tribe. Problem with dog walkers is dogs are now their children. So if you... people don't like you criticising your kids. If you work in museums and you tell a kid off, the parents will go loopy. And the kid will be fucking slavering.
But you see if that's a generational difference. Because if I got into trouble from someone that worked in a museum,
your mum and dad would give you hide.
I'd have to go and apologise to them. And,
but now the kids, children are not right. Can I have a situation where a children's telling you something and I'm like, no, that's incorrect. I'm not being told to do something by a child.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
But people have, it's moved on to dogs. If you criticise somebody's dog now, they take great offence because dogs are £4,000 pugs, their child. It's fucking mental.
Yeah, you got to watch
people have got too much money.
But this is a form of tribalism.
Yeah,
it really is.
Dogs and cat people. I think cat people would win.
I think so.
Colder.
I'm colder.
Leaner.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Dirt. Yeah. A cat person's more likely to stab you in the back with a really long, thin sort of like knife.
I've said to you before, I knew a bouncer who said, people that get in fights and that, don't worry me, it's people like you. And I went, what? He goes, you're the kind that go back to your car, wait till I went to my car at night and stabbed me in the neck. I went, no, I was really offended by that, but it's been said to me 3 times.
There's a film on BBC iPlayer called The Cop, the Gangster and the Devil, South Korean. That's all I need to know.
Okay,
South Korean films, man. And it's a serial killer and he's like bumping into people.
Right,
in their car, and when they get out, he has a wee chat with them and then stabs them to death. It's fucking nuts. But it's got the guy, the tough guy from you've seen Last Train to Busan?
Yes, yeah.
The wee beefy guy, he's in it playing a gangster. He's a fucking terrific actor.
This is the thing.
I'm sorry,
we're going to have to be careful.
Name, but he is super.
We're going to have to be careful with South Korean films. Because when I got into them late, it was like The Eye and stuff like that, and The Host. And I got into it late, and there's a lot of great stuff. But don't confuse reading subtitles with good acting, because I've been watching Squid Game, and I don't think it is as great as everyone's saying.
It's brutal.
I feel it's a wee bit hammed.
Pal Stuart said his 8-year-old daughter's watching Squid Game.
Oh no, that's not for no.
I said Stuart, that's a bit older.
Do you know what annoyed me? The digital blood.
Okay,
and
it's cheaper.
Watching the start, the very first one, I've seen that before, and it's a Japanese film I saw a few years ago. But it's the same big doll turns its head and everyone gets killed. So
they like the same. They like that Japanese culture. What was the one? Battle Royale. They like things where it's like, oh, it's interesting.
I think that was a really good satirical piece at the time, because children, at the time, the director was very aware that children get so much pressure put on them. Yeah. And this was his sort of satirising.
You ever read that Stephen King short story, The Long Walk?
No.
And it's in America, future America, and it's a thing every year where they take youth. You volunteer to go into it.
Okay.
And if you win fortune.
Right.
And they just walk. So they start at one end of America to the other, and if you slow down or you can't complete, they shoot you in the head. And it's the last people just walking. It's fucking nuts. It's some of Stephen King's best stuff. I think he wrote it when he was doing that Bachman books.
Richard Bachman.
Richard Bachman. Yeah,
Running Man and all that. Yeah,
yeah. The Running Man short story is very different from the film.
It's very different. It's basically Battle Royale and Hunger Games.
Yeah,
it's because they're meant to be. He's skinny and he needs food and he's doing it for his district.
Arnie's never went without a meal in his life.
Oh my God, he must eat a lot.
Does he? Is he cold? He's always in that hot tub with his donkey now.
He loves his donkey, but this is your future, isn't it?
Donkey
in a hot tub
smoking
with a donkey.
Those cigars.
They can't be good for you.
Can he make any more films?
I'm sure he will make a few.
Get on a bit now. He looks well though.
He looks great, and I think there's a place for him.
Yeah.
Although I see the Expendables 4's getting made right now, and they're all a bit old.
Stallone's a little bit harder to look at.
He's
What's he done to himself?
He's a right friendly fucker though, isn't he? Have you seen his Twitter and everything?
Yeah,
He's quite a funny
quite
guy.
Right though, very clever, very high IQ.
Oh yeah, he's very sharp.
But he was
you can hear that
never
in the humour.
But he was never that big a guy. Can he thinks
steroids?
But he just worked out. But he was always quite sinewy. He kind of He was cut, but he wasn't a big. But now he's big. I don't think it's just steroids. I think it's growth hormones.
I think he was banned from Australia
because his face has changed. It's big.
It's like the Joe Rogan bloat.
Oh, the bloat. Have you seen that Zac Efron? He's got a gigantic chin.
Well, what happened to him? I saw that. It's a surgery.
I think he's just been taking growth hormones.
Oh, he has to stop that. This is what happens though. These good-looking guys and the women in Hollywood, they look in the mirror and see something weird.
Joe Rogan bloat. Yeah.
It's like, you don't want that. Just be normal.
Tiny guy. Just minute legs.
4'3".
Like Toulouse-Lautrec.
Yeah. One leg
He's
bent
always
up
sat
the way.
down. He wouldn't have a podcast standing up. Do
you know what I like to think though?
What?
Because he's sitting across from someone, they're having these debates. They're not so great debates these days, it's just nonsense. But his wee legs are just swinging back and forward underneath because he's
the debates. Something
like
pops up on my YouTube channel, and he had a couple of these kind of bros on.
Yeah.
With these kind of like right wing trolley kind of guys.
Yeah. I
didn't like anything they had to say. It was cold.
Right, I've noticed
I know you can get annoyed.
It.
You can get annoyed if there's homeless people outside your house shitting in your garden.
Yeah, of course.
You're allowed. We speak about junkies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't actually do a junkie any harm. I'd rather somebody was to look after. I don't have the ability to help them in any way. But I wouldn't like if the government was just fucking dragging people off the streets. And I'd like them to get treatment.
The
rights attitude is don't give them anything. It's cheaper just to give these folk drugs and money. It's cheaper than to leave them to their own devices where they end up causing more problems for everybody. It's a small price to pay.
Yeah, it's I've noticed the change in it. Since he went to Texas, he's went full Texas.
Is it Austin he lives?
Yeah.
All right, okay. He's a kind of guy, he's a chameleon. So the last person he spoke to, he believes in what that guy believes in.
Yeah, but he went through a phase where that all stopped.
Yeah, he did.
He done his TV show, and he said that he was cured of everything, but now he's
Eddie
back
Bravo
to
guys.
Eddie Bravo's
but he's
insane.
That's
constant hits to the head. It has to be.
But he's wired to the moon. But he believes in flat. It's crazy.
He's crazy. He believes it all.
But it gets to the stage you shouldn't have folk like that on. It's just creating more and more and more.
Yeah,
there's a level of mad.
Because like I was just saying to you, I'm happy to look at right wing pundits and that just to get that, try and understand.
You couldn't be friends with a flat earther.
No, this is where there has to be lines.
Yeah,
and it's like with my friend that I fell out with over the COVID thing.
Yeah.
He says, well, I have a right to my opinion. And if everyone agreed, it would be a very boring world. And you go, but we're not disagreeing.
No.
You're rejecting facts.
Yeah, you're just
provable science.
But that is a growing tribe.
That's not a disagreement.
Yeah. The QAnon stuff, it's all made up. I couldn't be friends with people that believe in just hogwash. I'd be friends with people that say, you're the same as me. You love the notion of Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster.
Love all that stuff.
I don't believe in them.
Nope.
I'd love it if they're real. They're not.
Nope.
Ghosts. I love reading ghost stories. It's all wonderful.
The ghosts never captured me like UFOs.
No. But it's just not real.
But it's not real.
It's not real.
But it's fun.
But I'm not into religion, and all these things they're the same as religion.
Mm-hmm.
They never. All these cameras.
Tribalism. It's absolutely tribalism.
Have you seen those Bigfoot nests they claim to have found?
Yeah, I love all that
now,
shit.
if that's a Bigfoot nest, you'd put a camera on it and you'd photograph Bigfoot on this.
Bigfoot.
Don't think to do it.
Never happens.
Never happens.
But I love all this stuff. But to make that step from enjoying myth
to believe
and modern myth and stuff like that to actually living your life believing and knowing it's real, they're so far apart.
It's a leap of faith.
Right, I've made jokes about things, and we have inside jokes that you would never say here, and it's always pushing the humour to see what we could do.
Yeah.
But the difference between a joke and acting upon something, they're not even in the same universe.
Yeah.
They're so far apart.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So people make that leap.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in between.
But they have all of them. It's like it's not a pick and mix anymore. They take everything. They believe in all conspiracies simultaneously. That would just melt your head.
That's the problem. When they seem to think if you use, for example, in a lot of we're talking about these sciences and maybe wokeness and that, they will use words that you don't know, and you go, "What's that word mean?" They went, "Well, if you don't know," and it's like a new word that's been made up to describe something. And that gives them the same power as the back of a shampoo bottle. There's big words on it.
Yeah.
And when you talk to these people that are...
See if you're sitting having a jobby.
Yeah.
I like to read stuff. I've seen me just reading the ingredients in a shampoo bottle. Have you done that as well?
Yeah.
There's one that's always sat there in my line. In my sideline. I've read that about 40 times.
Yes, I love that. Thank God for phones.
I've got a little bookshelf.
Oh, you're classy though,
above
aren't you?
the toilet roll holder, there's a wee shelf and it's got a book in it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I like, you know what's the best book for having a shite?
What?
Far Side, Gary Larson.
Really?
Wonderful books.
At the moment, I'm really healthy, so mine's are coming out in a
splat. Okay.
So I'm not getting, I wouldn't even get the pages open.
Oh, there's
and I have my poop stool.
You do have your poop stool. You could convert that into a poop library.
You know what? There would be no reason that I couldn't have a sort of poop box and put a couple of wee books in it. That'd be lovely. I think that's
Wouldn't
quite
it? Some essential oils.
Get little brass handles on either side to put it to the side. A worn brass, old.
You should reach out to Adam Savage.
Yeah, I need a poop library.
What was the thing he made last?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Proton
he had
Pack.
a team in this time. He was like he was kind of getting a wee bit bullshit, wasn't he? He was ordering them about a wee bit.
Telling them what to do.
Where does he put all these endless shite? Because it's not like a cabinet.
That place isn't huge.
No,
but the
you must have
there is an
warehouse.
upstairs. It's only about probably 4 times the size of this. It's not massive, and there's an upstairs that looks incredibly
it's San
dangerous.
Fran, so isn't it? San Fran.
Do you imagine what the rent on that cost?
He's been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm. He was meant to be moving, but that never. I think COVID put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just when there was a studio tour he done last year.
I
think he's a farty. I think he probably I think he smokes and he drinks a lot of
Does
coffee.
he smoke?
He'll stink. He
drinks that Snapple Apple.
Oh my God!
Does he?
I saw him with Iron Brew.
Somebody sent him some because that's
and
illegal.
He loves it.
You can't buy that in America.
What an idiot!
Oh no, the old recipe Iron Brew's quite nice, but it's got sweeteners in it.
I was down at Blackpool for the Play Expo thing a couple of years ago. I had my first ever Iron Brew.
That's lovely.
And everyone around me thought I was joking. I've never tasted it, and I went like, that's great.
You know why that was invented?
Shit. How?
Because folk in the can Iron Brew girders made from girders, Ball's Iron Brew. The people on the docks were drunk, so they wanted to come up with an alternative to booze. So it's kind of like a semi. It's the illusion of whiskey. I mean, because it's got a slight spiciness.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it was a soft drink for 'em.
Although
people don't realise you cannot spend money in Glasgow. It's glass Iron Brew bottles. That's a currency.
Oh, that's right. That's
currency.
True.
God,
you see one of them sitting in the street, there's 10 people just, who's going to run first for it?
Well, some shops don't give you the money back anymore, but they're at it because they take your bottle.
Yeah, that's it. Bullshit.
Should all be glass bottled.
Bon Accord.
I've started drinking. Have you tasted kombucha?
No.
Change your life.
Oh.
It's a fermented tea drink because I was drinking too much Coca-Cola. So too much sugar. So I've kombucha.
You've lost weight. You've lost it. You could see it.
I'm not drinking. I've stopped drinking.
Holy
I've
shit!
Been drinking for a spell. But kombucha is a fermented tea drink.
Right, that sounds delightful.
Delicious.
Oh,
delicious.
When
hibiscus tea.
You hear word fermented, it's usually off-putting, but sometimes it can be glorious.
Kombucha, and have you tasted kimchi?
You've been telling me about it.
Korean fermented cabbagey stuff is so good.
So good.
You'd like it. It's quite vinegary. Kind of, if you like gherkins and stuff.
I only can taste 2 flavours anyway, so it narrows it down. We're recording. We're fine.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. Look at that. We're still going.
Tribalism.
But actually, everything we've been talking about does fall back into tribalism and that. And it's something that I think we should really fight against.
Well, you know that the BBC they had loads of programmes like Bruce Parry's Tribe, where a white guy would go into the jungle and live with people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they kind of do that anymore, do they?
Well, I think that's seen, although I don't believe there was anything nefarious or wrong about that.
It showed people.
It shows. Yeah. And what he's meant to do is show it through the cultural lens that you'll understand.
Yes.
And that's fair enough.
Did
he wasn't
you see
doing
the one,
anything bad, but I don't think they do it.
The Scarlett Moffat one where they dropped her house in an African village.
What?
It was like...
No, this sounds like bullshit.
Yeah. they moved their semi-detached house,
Right.
well, like a version of it,
Okay.
and stuck it in a village with her mum and dad and sister.
Oh, that sounds...
And then they lived to live with the
But you know why that sounds silly, but I don't think that's as bad as anything else. Do you want to know why?
No.
Because people are people, and the villagers will be going, that's hilarious.
If people had watched the programme, I think it was fine, but just the notion of it made people a little bit queasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, put it this way.
It's one of these Channel 4 programmes. They like to do something that creates a talking point.
And
but when you
doing
actually dig in, Channel 4 does stuff with a good spirit.
Yeah. Now, if you done it the other way around, and you had a housing estate where you got a local villager's house and dropped that into it, people would be going, well, that's not good.
But they'd be living considerably better than the denizens of Lochee.
Absolutely. Oh my
Folk
God.
would be robbing their house.
Yeah. It would be, yeah.
Some folks' house has no got much in it.
Have you been in houses like that? You ever been in someone's house and there's just nothing in it?
I remember when I was off the Kingsway once, I was at a community centre doing a kids thing. The kids were really poor. By and by, walking home, I walked past these houses and I looked in the window and no curtains, and the house had nothing.
Yeah.
There was no pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
The furniture was white lawn furniture.
I've seen this.
And there was a man sat there with 6 Rottweiler dogs.
This is very common. In fact, there was a Billy Connolly
lawn furniture.
There was a Billy Connolly joke where he said he went to someone's house and they had a tent in the house. I've been in 3 houses with tents in the house
because it's so cold. Jesus,
yeah,
I've been in houses. I was selling the gas years ago where people, you could tell they've been taking up the floorboards to burn them in the fireplace.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah,
I've seen that routine.
I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about the 90s that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if it happens so much now. I think things have definitely improved for people, especially in this area.
I think if you've got kids, there's a good chance there'll be money for you. But I sometimes think there's some single guys in particular
that are struggling. Yeah,
that are really struggling. There's not much out there for a single bloke. Yeah. I don't think. I'm not making a man.
Oh no, it's
man
just
power thing. I think there's more. I mean, if you're a lassie with kids, I think you're single women. Maybe I'm being wrong. Maybe single men, single women.
Single men and single women
equally
are probably in the same boat.
Position.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I think a lot of women have got more chance to get jobs. The world's changed a little bit.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Women are more employable,
and it's not like poor guys, but there are guys in Dundee that are we've talked about this before. They come from poverty. They don't stand a chance. They've done nothing wrong. They try and do everything right.
The one we treat was going for a fag in the pub, and they don't like to smoke. And the price of boozes went up. So
I didn't turn it. Okay, hold on. I'll turn it down. I forgot. Hold on.
What's this?
That's entirely.
Oh, it's a booty call.
It is. You know what? I've got to make my fiver somehow.
Booty call. Other tribes.
But no, it's funny because we usually. It's been pointed out we may not always stay on topic.
Yeah.
But every single thing we've talked about can fall into tribalism.
Yeah.
At some point.
Well,
and you have to be careful with it.
Well, every little bit was more. Each town would have its own dialect and its own. You could tell somebody was from Invergowrie.
Yeah,
that's going. You're getting these super accents now.
Yes, that's
so
true.
The Geordie accents encompassing a larger area.
Well, it's like this in Scotland. Where you came from to Dundee, the accent would be dramatically different.
Yeah.
Where that is really lessening all the time.
Yeah,
very much so.
I remember I had an old book somewhere and it had an old map of Europe with all the kind of. Because Europe was tribal areas, basically.
Yeah.
They don't call them ethnic groups.
Yeah.
And they've just plonked countries on top of them.
That's it.
But a country's not real.
Well, there's a map of France.
Yeah.
About 110, 100, maybe 120 years ago. And it's all little areas and every language is different.
Yeah.
Modern French is so new.
Yeah. But
brand new.
France is an older country than Germany and Italy are very young.
Yeah. Yeah,
very
it's
young
really
places.
Strange how when you see old maps.
Was it Garibaldi, the biscuit?
I love that biscuit.
Is that not what unified Italy?
Was it? I'm not sure.
Because it had all been city-states at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's and go and look. You get animated maps of Europe,
right?
And it's just all these shapes constantly changing of where the countries are and the names of them, and it's even in the last few years.
Do we still have Czechoslovakia? That's still
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Well, that's weird. And Romania is just because they fancy themselves as Romans. It's a made-up name.
It's a made-up name,
a strange thing.
It's mad.
That's why I like Eurovision so much.
Because Australia's in it.
Is that a bribe?
That must be. How did they get in it?
How did they get in it?
Israel's in it.
How did they get in it?
Yeah, Turkey's in it. Oh, we're on the cusp.
Aye.
But yeah,
Well,
that's. I just say everyone should be in
Eurovision
Europe.
coming out. Can't be long. Is it?
It's January, February,
fuck
isn't it? I can't remember.
The last one was a hoot.
I keep missing it.
That's a tribal thing.
Very.
Very tribal.
Very.
Britain's been punished. I think we got 0 points.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's went purely political. And I think because it went downhill for Britain when we went into Iraq with America.
Right.
And that year we were punished. In the worst way possible, we were punished for our war. Was we got 0 points in the Eurovision.
If they managed to clone John Lennon.
Yes.
Bring him up in his prime and get him to write a song and put him onto your 0 points. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Elton John, they could have Elton John, they could have Paul McCartney, they could basically have a super group.
Yeah.
0
but
points.
This tribalism's went to the extreme now where we're talking about left, right, blah blah blah, right? Here's what's happened in the Eurovision. They've got who can we give lots of points to that aren't a problematic country? So now you find Sweden's doing really well.
Yeah, Russia get punished a wee bit.
But yeah, it's like there's a who can we vote for now? Liechtenstein.
Because I suppose gay issues is quite prominent in the Eurovision.
Yeah.
Imagine being in that pit in front of the stage in Eurovision. Sweaty looking pit. Those laddies have a good time.
It's awful.
It's a great show, though.
It's
just
awful.
so stupid and relaxing. So stupid and relaxing.
It is stupid.
The one they did in Sweden a few years ago was what a show, though. That was the best one. It was so slick.
That was good.
That was a good professional.
That looked extremely expensive.
Well, I hate it when they have American musicians at it. Fuck them, Madonna.
Ugh.
Justin Trouser Snake.
Yeah, you don't want that. But for our international listeners, the Eurovision basically existed to get people, the public of Europe, ready for becoming the European Union.
Yes, soft power.
Soft power. So we'd all like each other. We're all singing, instead of the tribalism to try and break it down.
Yeah.
And there was another thing we got as well called It's a Knockout.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the guy who done that was a pedophile.
There's a thing, anyway, foreign watch as well, listeners, viewers, it's a royal knockout.
Oh, fuck.
It's available on YouTube.
Go on YouTube.
That was the start of the decline of the British royalty. That was the start.
It was the greatest move ever for them.
It was that and Prince Andrew's interview with Emily Maitlis. Quality
stuff.
You had like John Travolta was in it, Meatloaf.
Everybody was in it.
They
got it. And the thing is, it was Edward, the clearly most heterosexual member of the family.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to be in showbiz. And there was a great interview, and the press were saying, but isn't this a bit it's lacking in dignity? It doesn't look good. It doesn't. And he went, come on, this is for the people. This is entertainment. Come on. And he was like, oh, that's so detached.
Because he's got his company. He produces stuff.
Yeah.
So all the press weren't allowed to like follow about the royal kids in St Andrews, but he did.
Oh, of course.
He was allowed to.
Of course.
But there was a kind of documentary about his dad recently, and I think he produced it.
Oh my God, what a piece of shit. What a piece of shit he is. But yeah, go and watch It's a Royal Knockout.
Oh.
And you've got the royals who are meant to be dignified leaders, which I hate them, but this is what they're meant to be, wearing big giant bobbleheads and falling off of bricks.
You see Meatloaf covered in soap wrestling with Lady Di.
That's amazing.
It's wrestling. Princess Anne kicks John Travolta in the cock. It's something else.
John Travolta
but she
is
kicks
always
backwards like a horse. Right in his balls.
She's right involved in it. And the thing is, she thought, let's do this. This is going
to move.
People are going to love us again if we do this.
You've got to sit about in crowns and not say much. The minute don't move.
Yeah.
The minute you start saying stuff, it goes badly for you. The minute you realise you're all like sucking people's toes. Human failings.
I've always said with the royals, they have to stand as still as possible. Because the people who love them, the people who go, oh, God bless you, ma'am.
They're a symbol, they're not a person.
Yeah, but the people who love them, say they'd done something and they picked up a cup and they'd done it the wrong way, mass revolt. They'd go, look at them.
He's just human.
The royals know they're on the
man
verge.
who would be king.
Wee bit of blood.
They bleed.
Blue, it's blue. Imagine, like, Charles came out on that fucking balcony one day and he just got a nosebleed like sometimes we do. People would be like,
it would
be
like Ceausescu.
Yeah, out the back, bang, it's all over.
I bet the Queen would put up a fight, though. Give that old bird, she's armed, she'll have a shotgun under the bed.
She's like 300 years old, still riding horses and driving.
Riding horses in the biblical sense.
Oh my goodness, it's probably true. All sounds like it. Oh, we've done well. We've stayed. The reason I'm looking at the time is because I wanted to stay on track as much as possible.
Are people complaining?
They're complaining.
Jesus
They're
Christ.
saying they may be implying we're not as professional as we may claim. And we fucking are.
When did they ever think that?
Look, we next year, we will get back to making a film.
Oh.
Because we're that professional.
Yeah.
Right?
Imagine.
And I bought the cameras, the audio and everything, and I thought that's all you needed. But when we started, we realised we had no idea what we're doing.
Talent would be useful.
So
a script.
We stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back to it. I've actually figured out something really good that's working.
Okay.
And we'll go back to it and really put some effort in.
They're on tenterhooks.
And we'll
do them all.
We'll do a Kickstarter.
They're sitting up
tons of money.
They're sitting up in their seat. Can we do a Kickstarter and then flee with all the money?
That's what
Kickstarter
we'll make
maybe £400.
Yeah.
It's Kickstarter. It's generally the reinvention of the spork, and they want £50,000, and you get a spork.
Okay, here's how you can do well on Kickstarter. You can invest in something, right? There has to be a prototype. Now, they say there has to be a working prototype. If there's CGI...
That's expensive.
Don't invest.
Okay.
If they say they're disrupting the industry, don't invest.
Okay.
If they say they're reinventing, don't invest.
They say Gary Glitter's doing the soundtrack.
Don't invest.
Don't invest.
See if they're coming out with something like, when I'm doing this bit of work, my elbow hits this, so I've made a wee barrier for it, and you can put it on. And you go, I need that.
Aye.
Invest in it. Invest in something that's a natural evolution.
Okay.
But if you see something that's a full new invention, get the fuck out.
It's just the cost of prototyping's huge.
Yes. But if someone's already done it, they've invested their own money, therefore they believe in it. And it exists.
Remember there's a lassie invented a thing, it looked like a foot. It had two little puckers on it, and you could put your socks in it so you didn't lose a sock.
Okay. That sounds amazing.
Don't think she made her fortune.
No.
As soon as you make something now and it's any good, the Chinese will immediately make a rip-off.
Here's where
for
they're good at
a millionth of the price.
Go on to Wish or something like that, and there's little bits of plastic, and there's something for everything. But it's where you can mount your phone on an existing stand for your... They understand the market.
Right.
Those producers in what's the place called just north of Hong Kong? That
Taiwan?
Area? No, the area that they make everything.
Okay.
It's an industrial area.
Right.
They understand the market.
Yeah.
And if somebody needs something, they go, produce it now.
Yeah.
That's where you get all your phone cases from. That's where you get.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. So they understand it. So if people are taking that same approach on Kickstarter, you can get involved. Now, if there's more artistic things, you're taking a chance whether it's good or bad.
There was a guy I saw, and he'd made, I thought this might be interest to you, it was a system for gaming.
Okay.
It was a interconnecting game board.
Okay.
Where all the pieces you could just add to it, and it was all like almost like jigsaw, but all clipped in together. Looked fun. I wouldn't have it in the house.
Bullshit.
I'll
call it bullshit. Yeah. No, there's things like that, but you can see things
I
that
put
are really
money in
good.
a Kickstarter. It was Phil Tippett.
Yeah.
Phil Tippett did
that's
a show.
Right. I did. Yeah,
film.
that's right. Yeah.
I invested a small bit of money in that because I just wanted to see the film, and you got copies of it. I forget what it was called.
I put my money into Hardcore Henry, which means it's my film.
Is that terrible film?
And I'm still waiting on my little USB thing that was meant to get. Never got it.
That's been out for a while.
It's been out for quite a few years, and I never got anything back.
Fucking rogues.
But it was
the film industry is just
it was okay.
The big investors in films in Hollywood seemingly dentists and plastic surgeons. They're
I
the main
could believe
people,
that.
retired dentists.
Yeah. Now, wasn't that what Sam Raimi done? He took his In the Woods film around and took it to dentists, and they all invested in it.
Because they're weird dentists. Putting your fingers in people's mouths all day long would just drive you mental.
Oh, insane.
You wouldn't get the smell of people's breath out of your fingers.
But they wear gloves.
It gets through that.
No, they don't.
It
That's
does.
not how science works.
It just gets through the gloves.
It's
Just
new
that
gloves
Dundee.
every time.
Oh,
My dentists, every time I go down, I get a new one because they sort of go
a
through.
new dentist.
Yeah, but because they're new, they're absolutely fantastic. There's no jaded dentists. They're wanting to do their best, and they get it. Oh, it's really good. Apart from the last time I went down, I thought, am I nervous now? Am I getting older and nervous? Because I'd sweat. When I got up, there was sweat.
That sounds like a sex thing.
I was sweating non-stop. So, oh God, the second time I went back, sweating again. Didn't dawn on me, because this was the middle of summer. But it's a north-facing room with two girls. So the dentist is a 25-year-old girl.
You blaming women for your heat?
They said...
A hot flash.
They went, Mr. Findas, can you stand there because only one person could go in the corridor at a time with COVID? I went, no problem. And I put my elbow against the heater, red hot. There are two girls there, cold tatties.
They're trying to get you to take your clothes off.
Oh no, that's not a good idea.
That sounds like the plot to just the worst porn film.
All plots to porn films are the worst.
Do they have plots?
They do.
They used to have plots back in the day.
I think I'm...
Because people used to go and watch pornos in the cinema.
And
but
they
they get dressed up.
Oh God, don't do that.
Get
Don't do
gowns
that.
on and a tux. Go and watch a porno.
Go and watch a porno. How awkward. It
Very
sounds
awkward.
terrible. But I remember cinemas, you'd have XXX, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, you don't need boobs in films anymore.
No.
Because that was only... People would knock one off to like... What was that Kim Basinger film? 11 and a half months or 9.5 weeks.
9 months.
They just had a bit where they're like covering themselves in like Free Bentos pies. And
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. You did get that, but the thing is now, you were talking about the Hays Code earlier.
Yeah.
You don't need it enforced.
No.
You just need to show, well, you're going to make more money if there's less tits in it, and you make it like for kids as well.
Yeah.
So it just naturally is taken out of the film.
It's all superheroes now.
Oh,
There'll be
awful.
superhero
Awful.
pornography.
Oh,
Clearly.
there is. There's lots of it.
Difficult to do in the spandex.
Oh God,
And the capes would get
they
in the way.
find a way.
Imagine the hem of a cape at an orgy.
Soaking
Because
everything up.
Superman will pump out a lot of that Kryptonian jizz, won't it?
Tribal
The force of it.
tribes.
If he had sex with a
Tribalism.
woman, he'd blow her head off.
Oh my God.
Superman.
Why does we're doing so well? I'm trying to take this show to, because people are listening to us, and
You're taking it to where?
I'm taking it to a higher level.
Oh God.
High IQ.
Yeah.
Not from us. I'm just trying to
No.
make it sound that way.
I've seen over there next to your... Have I mentioned this? Next to the pug, there's a goose flying.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
Because the geese, the skeins of geese are flying in.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Beautiful.
all that. Been watching them.
Makes the hair in the back of your neck stand up. It's a primordial sound. You know, like that.
It's,
Imagine when you'd thought, as an early man looking up in your tribe, you looked up and it's a geese coming back. The winter's here. Tough times ahead.
yeah, but they were tougher then.
Tough
They'd
times
go,
ahead. No,
I
no.
love the snow.
Oh, the tough. A toothache had just killed them.
That's true.
Tenuous.
Oh my
Tenuous
God.
grip in life.
On that note,
Wash your balls, people.
Wash
Wash your
your
tribal. Imagine
tribal.
if one of your balls supported Rangers and other balls supported Celtic.
they would constantly be
Jiggle her
in
down.
anger.
There'd just be a fury.
In anger apart.
Have to put an elastic band between them.
We always end so well. Laters.
One green, one blue.
Jesus.